verticals to drive customer interaction. May we invite Yang Mulia Ms. Suzanawati Haji Suharju, CEO of Imagine Sendirian Berhad.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. I am going to attempt to make this as interactive as I possibly can, simply because I am aware that it is Friday and it's the afternoon. Yes? So perhaps let's move on to my first slide, please. Before we start, I thought I would take the opportunity to thank the organizers, Ministry of Transport and Info Communication, Minister of Primary Resources and Tourism, and as well, of course, AITI. Thank you very much for the honor and the privilege to be able to stand up here today and share some thoughts and some of the things that Imagine is doing that we are in a position to be able to offer to the local market. What I'd like to speak with you about today revolves around, to try and put it simply, data analytics. Next slide, please. Before that, I will not assume that everybody knows what Imagine has to offer. Of course, as part of the telecommunication transformation in 2019, and we were formerly Telbrew, and we had opted to rebrand ourselves as Imagine Sendirian Berhad, where not only were we in a position to be able to offer broadband, but also mobile. That is, of course, what you see everywhere and what we are able to offer our consumer customers. What perhaps may not necessarily be well known is that we also have an enterprise sales division that offers an array of products and services, which of course includes Business Connect, and that includes business broadband and business mobile. Of course, that's the very basic. But of course, we want to be able to introduce to the local market things that are beyond connectivity. And what you see here on the screen is, of course, the usual lease line. We also offer DMR, SMS gateway. And one of the things that I would want for us to showcase as part of this event, and we do have a booth outside where I will strongly encourage you to visit, is that our services that entails cybersecurity, data analytics, and of course, products that relates to the oil and gas industry, the medical industry, as well as data center, and so on and so forth. Yes? Thank you. Next slide, please. Right, to get into the crux of the presentation. So again, what I wanted to speak about today is, of course, on data analytics, artificial intelligence, and why we need to start thinking about it and how it can support our business. Next slide, please. Right, ladies and gentlemen, before we start, let's talk about data. What is data? Yes? It is everywhere. Now, over the last 2 years alone, 90% of the world's data was created. If you were to picture this, 2.5, so many zeros there, quintillion bytes of data was created. Picture the Eiffel Tower and stack it up 4 times. That is how much data has been generated. What does it mean? You hear of the word big data. What does it mean exactly? Yeah? Data now has been a source of economic value for us. Yes? Now, as a business, irrespective of the size that you are, whether you are big, whether you are small, guess what? You are ultimately in the business of data collection. Yes? You store, you secure, you harness information, but the question then comes, how do you apply it? How do you monetize it? So let's speak about that together today. Next slide, please. Right. First and foremost, I will safely assume that everybody in this room holds a smart device. Is that correct? Yes, thank you. And this is the part where I will shamelessly plug and say, I hope you hold an Imagine mobile line. Yes? Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, if you look at the statistics that was created last year, every minute we create so much information and data. Let's drill it down a little bit, yeah? On YouTube alone, 500 hours of video was uploaded every minute, yeah? Instagram, that's popular when we use social media. Some 347,000 stories are uploaded every minute, yes? Everybody here, I'd like to assume, uses WhatsApp. Some 41.7 million messages are sent. A lot is happening online every minute, yes? So we've essentially increased or doubled the use of our data when compared to statistics shown in 2019. Now, the question we ask ourselves, yeah, as a business, with so many customers creating information and consuming online content, are we in a position to be able to tap into it? Next slide, please. Let's drill down into some information locally in Brunei, yes? These are statistics that was derived in 2020. Let's just put it this way, ladies and gentlemen. Out of approximately 413 internet users, about 410 of us are on social media. We have had a significant growth in use of mobile devices and other smart devices. I won't go into the details of what has been used, but again, my message here is that Brunei, as a nation, we are geared and ready to go on what I call this digital wave. Next slide, please. Okay, we've spoken about data. We've spoken about how it was derived. Let's speak about what we do with it. Now, this is a piece where we speak of data analytics. Where do I start? Yeah? It's simple in my view. It always starts from an organization asking themselves, what is that question that you want to be able to answer? I'll take an example that Imagine ourselves have used over the last year. As everybody knows, we've moved into a highly competitive market. And one of the things that we wanted to do is to make sure that our customers continue to stay with us. So we asked ourselves the question, how do we make sure we continue to keep our customers happy and that they retain and remain with us? So that was the question we asked ourselves. We then use data, we then use analytics to be able to make informed decision of how we launch our products better, how we interact with our customers better, and ultimately answer the question that we asked ourselves, how do we make sure we keep our customers with us? Next slide, please. Right. Why do we have to look at it now? Why is it so important now compared to where we were? Now, last year was an extremely unusual, unprecedented year for all of us around the world. COVID-19 hit. We've had to think differently on how we do business with each other all around the world. Yeah. Now, based on studies that have been shown, that most decision makers and board members view that data analytics and artificial intelligence to be the top two criteria that they assess and consider in making well-informed decision in their organization. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like to share across with you here is this. Analytics is central to any digital transformation journey that we make. Next slide, please. Right, so where is it applied? One may automatically assume that I have to be a big organization, a big corporate, to be able to use data analytics. The answer is no. It is applied across all industries, ranging from marketing to operations, yeah? Now, traditionally, we may have had used instincts to make decision, but as we've said earlier on, yeah, times are changing. In order for us to hop onto this digital journey, we must make well-informed decisions based on statistics and data that we have. Yeah? So these are, of course, the different areas and industries that applies data analytics all across the world, ranging from marketing, ranging to social security service, ranging to logistics and supply chain, to name a few. Next slide, please. Right, what are the benefits? I mean, we've spoken about making well-informed business decisions, but ultimately there are other things as well that we can benefit from using data analytics and AI. Least of all, of course, as the example that I've given you for Imagine Ourselves, is faster response time to customers. Because the question that Imagine asks ourselves is, how do we make sure we continue to keep our customers happy? How do we make sure we continue to produce products and services and packages that will attract our existing customers as well as new customers? Yeah? So again, ladies and gentlemen, there are an array of benefits for us to be able to use this as a platform for us to make decisions on not just impacting those that are impacting our business strategy, but even in how we interact with each other and our customers. Next slide, please. Okay, there are different kinds of analytics, yeah? And where does one start? Yeah? Again, we've already spoken about how effective it can be for any organization, irrespective of your size. Yeah? You can start from as simple as data gathering. Yes? This is where you have a look, an insight as to what the information is. What has happened? That is the question we ask ourselves. We then move on to why did it happen? Yes? We do some analysis as to what was the root cause of an issue. So we call that diagnostic. And in addition to that, next step. Shall I say something now? Shall I move the mic further away? Right, okay. Perhaps it's an opportunity for us to ask questions, I don't know. Anyway, if we can move on, yes? So the next question we ask ourselves once we identify what the gaps are is, how do we then fix it? Yes? So of course, modeling, predictive modeling can be used as a tool for us to mitigate whatever gaps or issues we may have. And of course, ultimately, is to be able to use data analytics and AI to automate things. Yeah? Ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, data analytics and AI, as we said, can be used across all sectors of different industry, irrespective of the size of your organization. So I ask you this, yeah? Where are you in your journey for analytics? Next slide, please. Right, next slide, thank you. Now, early on in the year, Imagine, as part and parcel of our business decision, has opted to partner with Lynx Analytic. Yeah? Lynx Analytic is an organization that's based in Singapore, and they bring along with them international expertise to be able to provide not just government, corporate clients, SMEs, yeah, the ability to use AI as a means for them to drive better decision making. Yes? They have supported many different industries as an experience, and I'm happy to say now, with this collaboration between Imagine and Lynx Analytics, this service is available to us locally. Next slide, please. Now, many different ways in which Lynx Analytics has supported across different sectors, customer acquisition and churn management being one. That is a direct example of something that we ourselves at Imagine have used. Yeah? understanding the root cause of an NPS score, Net Promoter Score. How do we make sure that our customers are happy with us and will continue to support us and introduce us to their friends and family? Yeah? And of course, on customer care, and perhaps even how best you can staff your organization. These are just some of the examples of how we can solve both easy and complex issues by using data analytics and AI. Next slide, please. Again, just to give you an overview of the 4 major sectors that our partner has supported. Yeah? Of course, we speak of telecommunications. I've said that repeatedly already, how they have supported us in trying to be able to understand how best we can communicate with our customers. And of course, on the financial sector, yeah, how can we acquire customers? On the retail side as well, data analytics can be used to be able to optimize things like inventory, how we can optimize pricing, order fulfillment, to name a few. And of course, they've done some work in the medical and the life sciences field. Next slide, please. Next slide, thank you. These are just examples that I'm going to take and bring you along as to how they have successfully and how we have successfully used data analytics and AI. The question that was asked from a land transport authority was, are my customers happy with their bus service, and how best do we optimize the routes? Next slide, please. Right. So in order to support the planning and operations for public transport, there were 3 use cases that is presented here. 1, in terms of bus optimization, bus service optimization. 2, with regards to train extension analysis. And 3, urban traffic planning. Ultimately, what they have done was to be able to create models to predict the impact should, for example, there's a disruption in the bus service. Should there be an example, be a disruption in commuters and train transport. What this means is that we are able to reduce journey time and, of course, ultimately go green and reduce carbon emission. So that was one example. Next slide, please. Yeah. Again, this can be used in the retail industry, where a retail store operator asks the question, what kind of consumers, what kind of people come to the store or my shop, yeah? And how can I improve the performance of my store? Maybe even ask the question, yeah, when should I open or close my shop? Yeah? Because with any organization, you want to be able to look at effectiveness of your operations, because ultimately that has a dollar value impact onto your business. Next slide, please. Again, with data analytics, what we are able to do was to be able to combine existing knowledge that we already had with the customer and then come up with a deep understanding of people's behaviors, their needs, their wants, what time they go to the shop, what they tend to purchase, yeah, to be able for you to be able to manage your operations better, yes? You know, there are many different things that we can do here. Of course, analyzing demographics, analyzing age preferences, analyzing the income category of people. All of these are useful information that can help a retail business operate themselves better. Next slide, please. I'd like to speak to you now about what we have that's called Customer Happiness Index. Yes? It is to be able to identify and manage key factors impacting customer satisfaction. You'll notice that over the last couple of minutes, I've been speaking about, customer index. I've been speaking about how we can serve our customers better. One of the reasons why we do that is because imagine as an organization value and pride ourselves with our excellent customer service. Yes? Next slide, please. Now, I won't go through too much detail as to what this customer happiness index is, but essentially it has the ability for us to be able to understand our customers better in terms of the products that they would want or need, in terms of the mode of communication, in terms of their contracts. How long have they been with us? When are their contracts due? By using this, we are able to plan when we should roll out products, when we should reach out to the customer, to ensure that we reach out to them earlier on to minimize churn. Yes? And ultimately, what this means is an improved NPS score. Yes? Sometimes, in most instances, I'd like to believe while pricing is important, not everybody takes only that into account. I would like to believe that people also appreciate the well-thought service that is given to them. And again, this is something that's important to imagine as an organization. Yes? Next slide, please. Right. As I've mentioned early on, ladies and gentlemen, the Customer Happiness Index is in a position to be able to predict what we need to do, to be able to offer products and services and cater to our customers, to provide them an improved customer experience, as well as to prevent dissatisfaction. We are in a position, by using Customer Happiness Index, to be proactive in our approach to market. It's extremely powerful for us to be able to do this because time and time again it's been said that organizations nowadays want to be in a position to make well-thought decisions based on data and statistics that are presented at hand. Next slide, please. Right, next slide. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I hope in the few minutes that I've shared with you, we have an appreciation of what is data, how it's collected, what we can do with it, why data analytics and AI is important, and how it can help your business, irrespective of the size, irrespective of the industry, can help your business better. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Suzanawati. Ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, we would like to invite one question from the floor, if any, and 2 questions from Slido to close out the session.
Shall I take a question from the floor first, or? Okay, I'll read from the bottom up. Yes. What are the challenges or resistance that can address Brunei market to adopt analytics? I think this question can be applied throughout anything new that is to be introduced to us. It all boils down to information. It all boils down to knowledge as to how it can help improve businesses. It's very natural for when, in an instance where when something new is introduced to us, that we are hesitant at the onset. But I believe our role here is to be able to continuously engage and share with you benefits of data analytics and AI. How will the landscape of customer services be in the next 5 years for Imagine? First, I'd like to say and I'd like to believe that Imagine has excellent customer experience. The team works hard to make sure that we respond to your queries, that we respond to your feedback in a timely manner. Yeah? Using data analytics and AI, and we already have been doing this in the organization, we hope to be able to continuously engage you. We, as an organization, truly believe that it is your voice and opinion that matters to us in order for us to be able to successfully serve you better. I'm just going to pause now because there's a few questions from Slido and a few questions from the audience. Feel free to ask me anything, guys. I did say I'm attempting to make this as interactive as I possibly can. Yeah? No? Perhaps I'll take the opportunity then to emphasize and to share. I know that the things that I've shared with you may not necessarily have been, given you, it was just a broad brush, if you will, as to what Imagine and our partnership with Links Analytics can do with regards to be able to offer data analytics and AI. I will encourage you, should you have further questions after this, or perhaps anyone even not in this session, to reach out to Imagine. Yeah, you may reach out to us via all of our social media handles and via our enterprise sales team, should this be something of interest to your organization. I cannot stress the value of us being thoughtful in how we make decisions for our organization and how this will help drive a smart digital nation for us. Yes? Okay. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think my time is up. Yeah. Thank you again, and thank you very much for your time. And I hope to speak to you after this on the same subject matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Suzanawati, for the very engaging session. Now we have our next topic, the future of digital marketplace, how social media helps SMEs thrive in digital era, to be presented by our next speaker who will be joining with us through Zoom. Please welcome Yang Mulia Mr. Nudi Valdrino.
Hello. Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh from Indonesia. My name is Nudi Valdrino. People usually call me Rino. I'm currently Politics and Government Outreach Manager for Facebook in Asia Pacific. First of all, I would like to thank the Brunei Meteor Conference organizer for inviting us. This is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of the first time that Facebook collaborates with Brunei government. And it is our intention to be in Brunei sometime. So hopefully the pandemic will end soon and we can all meet in person. All right, so I have around 20 minutes in front of me to present about how social media trends have actually changed in the middle of pandemic, and how SMEs can actually utilize social media moving forward to improve their sales, to do cross-border sales, and what are the trends moving forward. So with that, I would like to ask your permission to first share my slides. Give me a minute. All right. Yep, I'll skip this slide, but if any of you want to get in touch, especially from Brunei, who hasn't get in touch with us, feel free to contact me via email, which is attached on the screen. So for some of you, you might not know yet that Facebook mission is to give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together. And we feel that our mission actually stands up right in the middle of pandemic. A lot of people actually use our platforms to stay connected with their family and their friends. Right now, we're seeing positive trends in social media in terms of usage. Right? In our Facebook technologies, we have few applications. These 4 applications might be the ones that you've used before or you are using frequently, right? The first one is definitely the old Facebook, the Facebook Blue app, and then we also have WhatsApp. Now we also have Instagram, and we also have Facebook Messenger. Right now, approximately 3.1 billion people are using one of our apps on monthly basis. And 2.4 billion people are actually using one of these apps on daily basis. So these trends that we're seeing are positive, and our task is to make sure that we are directing the users to utilize social media platforms for goods and for positives. Now, when COVID pandemic hit, right, there is a shift in trends in using social media platforms. We like to call this being creative in uncertain times and learning how brands can develop their creative work right now. So some of you might be representing companies. I know we have friends from Brunei government here. Some of you might be thinking, how can I engage with audiences, with social media users during this pandemic, right? And we did a small study back in 2020. What we found in that study, and this study is done in few countries, sorry, in few countries, and what we found is that the desire to stay connected is actually rapidly changing behaviors. And when I saw this study, I can relate to myself as well. I feel like this is what I've been doing during the pandemic. The first one is 70% of the respondents said they spend more time on their smartphone. And then 45% said they spend more time on messaging applications such as WhatsApp. And 45% said they spend more time on social media. So I think in a nutshell, what this data shows is that people spend a lot more time on their digital gadgets, right? So there might be different purposes in doing so, to stay connected, to just spend your weekend when you can't get out of your house. So basically the trend is shifting. It's more positive. A lot more people are using their digital gadget and social media as well. But what we want to know is that the trend is positive, but what are the features that people are actually using, right? So we want to know how to engage with more audiences and the trend moving forward. And there are two features that we found in this study that is being used more than ever. The first one is video group calls, right? And this is to recreate that in-person socialization. Being based in Jakarta, Indonesia, I think we're going through a tough time again right now where social boundary might be reenacted because of COVID. And video group calls really help us to stay connected with our families, with our colleagues, and with our friends, right? Participation in Messenger group video calls has grown globally by 70%. This is unseen numbers, right? The growth of video group calls is really, really massive. And in 1 week back in 2020, time spent in group video calls has grown by 2 times. So it's doubled just in a week. And before COVID, we didn't see this type of numbers before on our platform. And then the second feature that people are using are actually the live broadcasting experience, right? Even now, I'm meeting you through Zoom calls, and this is one of the ways we use live broadcasting and live feature to stay connected. Globally, 3 in 4 users are interested in live streams of events that are canceled or postponed, right? So if some of you, I'm sure you all have experienced your events getting canceled or getting postponed. We at Facebook had tons of events that we have to cancel, right? And the way we deal with this, and we're currently still dealing with this situation, is that we consider switching those events to live broadcast, be it from Facebook, be it from Instagram, or even other platforms, right? So this is, I really feel live broadcasting is the tool of sort of our time currently, right? So this is the tool that we use to really stay connected and still spreading our organization's message. If we look at the number in the United States, we've seen Facebook Live viewers in the US increase up to 50% in a month. And again, similar to video group calls, this is unseen numbers that we have never seen before, right? So this is sort of the landscape of where we are right now in terms of trends and in terms of the current state for our organization at Facebook, right? So if any of you are looking for ways to engage with your audiences, you want to engage with more users, definitely consider group calls or live streaming experience. Now, for SMEs, right? So some of you might have your own small medium enterprise. Some of you might have friends who own SMEs. This is a really touching topic, right? Because SMEs are one of the most impacted organizations during COVID, right? Decades ago, consumer buying decisions were based largely on what was immediately available in store. This is not the case anymore, right? COVID-19 has accelerated online shopping, right? Advancing years worth of e-commerce penetration just in a matter of months. That's what's happened in the last 2 years, right? So shopping is being redefined. Today, businesses of all sizes are actually being forced to change their model and adapt to selling online. And for me, this is not just for businesses, right? This is for organizations as well. Even for government organizations, you are being forced to spread your message online. Going forward, consumers may be more discerning in their shopping behavior, right? Brands that have made digital their top priority, especially direct to consumer, are in a strong position to future-proof their businesses. And this is just a fact during COVID, right? And brands that haven't will need to prioritize shifting to digital, right? The data is there. 75% of respondents plan to avoid shopping centers, right? So we have to rethink, what do we want to do with those physical spaces? If you're a business, you want to know, right? What's your strategy moving forward? 51% of businesses report increasing online interactions with their clients. And I guess this is inevitable, right? With the trend that we're seeing. 31% of operational SMBs report that they are now conducting all of their sales online, and 31% is a massive numbers, right? So this is the trend in terms of business and SMEs, and there are a lot of other factors influencing consumers' decision, right? So when evaluating where to shop, both online and in store, right? Price actually remains the top factor in the decision-making process. I feel due to the economic impact of COVID, price will definitely be more likely to be a key priority for shoppers, right? In fact, 74% of consumers say they are focused on getting the best price of everyday items. And 61% say they are actively seeking out deals and coupons, which might not be as relevant before COVID, right? So if you are an SME, make sure your pricing is competitive moving forward. Sorry. And then on top of pricing, consumers are actually looking for safety and reliability, right? Additional factors are actually rivaling price as people reprioritize their shopping expectations and redefine what value means. And as a result of the pandemic, safety and reliability have emerged as these new standards, especially for in-store shopping, right? Around 71% of consumers globally say it's very important that a retailer create a safe environment to shop, right? So on top, below pricing, you have safety and reliability, right? So if you are an SME, make sure you are paying attention to these factors. And then when it comes to online shopping, pure online shopping, right? With price, safety, and reliability now being table stakes, right? Convenience and experience are becoming key differentiators for retailers. Over the course of the pandemic, offering a seamless return policy and providing superior customer service have been among the fastest growing criteria for influencing shopping decisions, right? So when people do online shopping, reliability, return policy, they want that type of access, right? They want those features to make sure they are convinced to shop in your stores. And as consumers have seen the economic impact of the pandemic, many have actually shifted to focus on keeping small businesses in their local communities afloat. This is such a positive trend, right? I think in a lot of countries in our regions, small businesses are the pillar of our communities, right? And during the pandemic, the only one who can support these small businesses operating in our communities is us, right? So 67% of consumers globally say they've taken some measure to support a small local business, such as making a special effort to purchase from one of them and promoting them on social media is such a strong and positive trend for our communities in globally, right? So this is just an empowering trend that we see happening around the world. Now, with the emerging of online shopping, right? I'm almost up at my time, but a few more slides left. With the emerging of online shopping, the positives are opportunities to continue to expand your network, and for cross-border business continues to widen, right? 38% of online shoppers globally report buying products that were shipped from another country. So if you are one of the SMEs, or if you have friends who have SMEs, make sure that they are aware, right, that the opportunities in COVID era is still there. With the pandemic, it has made important for brands to also show support for SMEs. So there's opportunity there that we have to utilize as well. And for cross-border businesses, right, there are other factors influencing shoppers' decision, right? When deciding to buy cross-border, consumers tend to prioritize price transparency, delivery tracking capabilities, shipping time, and again, return policies, right? Developing an impactful cross-border strategy can help you unlock more opportunity. Sometimes we see businesses deploy the same strategies for local market and for cross-border market. These two markets are completely different from our experience, and it requires a different strategy in place. Innovative businesses are expanding and creating resilience through deep relevance and seamless experiences. For example, there's this example from Sweden, a company called Happy Socks, right? Grew their brand to 90 plus countries by using online ads to target people globally who are most likely to buy vibrant, if I may, upbeat socks, right? And this is just one of the case studies that we have globally. So the cross-border experiences and cross-border opportunities is there for us to capitalize on it, right? So moving forward, last but not least, what is it like moving forward? This is still a pandemic period and we haven't fully come out of it. But moving forward, according to one of our leaders in the e-commerce space, right? He said historical periods of economic disruptions tend to create moments of innovation, right? So the opportunities is still there, and the consumer's shopping space will be no exception. In short, he expects a surge of new direct-to-consumer brands to emerge in the next year and challenge incumbent brands across all consumer categories. So I think I really agree with Omar. Being in Indonesia, we've seen a lot of local businesses thrive during COVID, right? And we have to support local business communities for them to be the pillar of our economy in times of COVID. And with that, I would like to end my presentation and give the floor back to the moderator for question and answers. Thank you. Okay, I'll take a look at the Slido. What is your advice to a small economy like Brunei to participate in the global e-commerce, right? This is definitely one of the toughest questions to tackle during pandemic, right? And there's no sugarcoating it. I think there's no silver bullet to sort of resolve these problems. However, from the markets that I'm covering in Asia Pacific, those who have successfully penetrated global market, or let's take a step back, right? Some of them, they don't actually aim for global market at first. They aim for regional market. So how can Brunei have more products in Southeast Asia? How can Malaysia or Singapore have more products in Indonesia? So this cross-border exchange will only be able to be achieved by strong product development, right? From the markets that I'm covering, those who are successful in penetrating to other markets, they make sure they have high quality products, they make sure they have seamless process for shoppings, and they make sure they have strong customer service, right? Like we mentioned in slides. So when we have these three aspects, those products can actually penetrate other markets quite easily, right? So the good thing about our markets in Southeast Asia is that people want to buy high quality products, right? And when they found one, they don't hesitate to actually purchase the product. And this is something that is really good. This is something that is positive trend. So if SMEs in Brunei want to participate more in the regional market and then in the global market, I feel there is a need to replicate the strategy by other countries, which is to strengthen the local product, strengthen its value to non-Brunei citizens. Why they have to purchase your product instead of the other products, right? And make sure the shopping experience is seamless. That's really important, and make sure there's a strong customer service, right? Remember, we mentioned that return policy is one of the key pillars in shoppers' decision, right? So this type of small details, small policies really matter during pandemic times like this. Sorry. Sorry, I'm just looking at Slido. Will this overall trend continue to stay beyond COVID, or will it go back to previous models, right? How sticky is this new model? I think I really like this question. No one knows, right? But what we know at Facebook is that this type of disruption, this type of major event like the pandemic, right, definitely change people's behavior. So my personal take on this is that the small details, like the amount of time people spending on social media, the amount of time people spending on their digital gadgets, it might not be the same when the pandemic ended, right, as of currently. the current situation actually forced us to spend more and more time in digital, right? This might not stick around for too long, but the behavior changes in, let's say, shopping that have the better possibility to stick around longer, right? Because even for me myself, right, I'm actually an in-store supporter, right? When I purchase something, I like to see the stuff. I like to see the goods, choose the best looking goods before I make my purchase, right? I'm sure one of us have been in that situation when all the goods are the same, but you're still picking the better goods, right? You feel like, oh, those in the back that haven't been touched by people, so I'll choose the ones in the back, right? So I'm one of those people, right? I like in-store experience, but now 1.5 year going into the pandemic, of course that has changed, right? I'm more used to online shopping. I used to have this anxiety of shopping online, right? Especially to purchase like bigger goods, right? Like bags, those goods that we value and we use often, right? And now I'm really used to it, and I feel like when the pandemic ends, I might probably go back to some in-store experience, but I'll definitely keep the online shopping experience alive as well. So this type of disruptions change people's behavior for the long term, right? And I think from the trends that we're seeing, from the slides as well, we've seen massive changes, right? Not only people are sort of like changing the way they use social media, but they've changed their behavior as well due to the pandemic. So the answer in short is that some of the details, some of the smaller behavior, like the amount of time we spend on social media, they might not stick forever, right? But the behavior changes caused by the pandemic, they have the bigger possibility to stick around for long. So if you're an SMB, I feel that you should prepare for this trend to stick along for long term. How can we encourage customers to use e-commerce when they prefer to pay with cash and aren't patient enough? And I lost the question. Where is it? For deliveries, right? Yeah, I mean, I think one of the tech companies, not Facebook, one of the tech companies in the US, they now provide like same-day delivery, right? And people are still complaining, right? Even in Indonesia, some of our e-commerce platforms actually provide same-day delivery. And I've seen some comments on the platforms that, oh, this is still taking too long, right? So we don't know where this trend is going. People are purchasing via e-commerce, but they want faster and faster service, right? Some of these e-commerce platforms might have to provide like 2 hours delivery service. I don't know. But I think to encourage customers to buy from e-commerce products, right, or e-commerce platforms, we can go back to the earlier point, right, which is strengthen your product, create a seamless experience, make sure that the experience that they have while using e-commerce platforms is better than in-store experience. So I feel that will play a key factor, especially during this pandemic. There's opportunity for all of you to engage with more wider audiences, even cross-border audiences. With that, I'm told that my time is up. I'm really happy to share today. I hope what we share, albeit in a very short time, is useful for you. And I'm looking forward to engage again with Brunei soon. Take care and stay safe and healthy. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Nudi, for the presentation and responding to the questions over Slidos. We have now reached to our last topic for the day. May we invite the moderator for the last session, Yang Mulia Ms. Fatin Arifin, President of Young Entrepreneurs Association of Brunei. The floor is yours, Ms. Fatin.
Thank you very much, Puan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. So I've got a request by the organizer. One request is that we will stay here until 6 o'clock, but I'm kidding. But due to time constraint that we have, we will actually want to encourage everybody to take up some refreshments at the back so that you can bring your refreshments to the table and then we can have the session. And second, we'd like to actually see, since this is the last session of today, if we can have some questions from the floor to make it more engaging. We know Slido is awesome, but it's also equally awesome if we can hear some questions from the floor. Yeah? So maybe perhaps we can have several minutes to pick up some refreshment at the back. Yeah? And also, I suppose if I can invite both of my speakers up to the stage. So this session is going to be about data analytics and e-commerce, supporting function towards a cashless society. So we have Mr. Azri Jumat, who's the Chief Executive Officer of ONZ, which is Brunei's first parcel delivery app, and also Mr. Darren Liu, Co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of DXM Sendirian Berhad, or more well known as HeyDomo. So HeyDomo is Brunei's online marketplace that brings together businesses and delivery services in one app. So I guess you can call it your social lifestyle platform. So I wish to welcome both of them on stage. It's my first time meeting both of them today. Not actually first time, but today. Hi. Okay. So are you ready for your presentation first, Mr. Azri? Yeah. So perhaps let's start off the session with a presentation on data analytics. Sorry, on data analytics from Mr. Azri. Would you like to stand up or are you going to sit down?
I'll just sit down.
Okay. Maybe we wait for a couple of minutes? Okay. Then we can have a chat on stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will start the session shortly. We kindly request you to take your seat, and you are welcome to take your food to the table while listening to our speakers. Thank you.
I think the market can still take in one or two more offerings actually, definitely. Because if we look into it every day, maybe there's only about 500 food delivery ongoing in Brunei, including people like Pizza Hut, KFC, who that they are their own, right? And based on our calculation, only about probably about 15 to 20% of people in Brunei are really using delivery app, which are from like 20 years old to 45 years old. Yeah, so there are still gaps to be filled.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. I think we are ready to start, right? So I think in terms of time, we've got about 45 minutes to 4:30. So we'll have two presentations. Let's hope that we have at least 30 minutes to have a Q&A. So to start off, let me invite Mr. Azri from ONS to share his insights.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon. Okay. All right. Okay. My name is Azri Juman, and then I'm the CEO and the founder of ONS. As you can see, you can email after this. You have any inquiry? Yeah? No, it's not very clear. All right. Next. All right. First of all, I would like to introduce our company. Okay. What is ONS? Actually, ONS is a platform, a mobile platform for pickup and delivery services in Brunei. Actually, it's the first apps actually to handle parcel delivery. It's only for domestic delivery. It's not cross-border, or we don't do e-hailing and everything. So what the problem that we solve actually is the most common problem that we encounter today is the reliability of our driver, especially the freelance runner or driver. And then we also solve the trusted issue regarding about the delivery. And then we also have affordable pricing on our platform. Exactly, if you request pickup and delivery, definitely you can see the pricing before you agree. And then the pickup and delivery that we provide actually been insured up to $500 per delivery. Okay. Okay. So currently, this is just a simple insight that I want to share. All right. Currently, we have 193 active drivers currently until today. And then we have 6,000 active customers until today. So currently we are having the first MVP, okay, minimal viable product. And soon, inshallah, within another 3 months, we're going to release our second version apps that are going to be improved and much more better platform for our consumer. Okay, let's talk about what is data analytic and e-commerce supporting function toward a cashless society. All right. Today we're going to discuss about the importance and the uses of data analytic and how this could be used to entice e-consumer. And then secondly, how are you using data analytic for your businesses and how critical is this data? So before we dig in actually what is data analytic, let's talk about a simple basic knowledge first. Okay, what is data actually? Data actually is a useless information, all right? It haven't yet been processed or converted into information. I'll explain later after this. So, what is data? All right? Data is just simply a raw fact, all right? Okay, let me take example. Okay, so here I show some data. All right, I'll show you 9,000, and then I put lambak kanan, and then I put 10%, and then I put curry over there. All right? So this is a data. It's a raw fact, a data. So it's very useless for anybody, especially outsider, especially the business entity. But when we convert it, the data into information, all right? You can convert like 10% out of lambak kanan population, all right? There are 9,000, love to eat curry. So that is a basic information that we need instead of data. All right? So that is make the process, the changes of data to information. Okay. There are 3 types of data analytic actually. One is descriptive analytic. All right? As you can see, The question is always to be happen. Okay, what happened? For descriptive analytic is more users for the businesses, and then predictive analytic is more toward like weather forecasting and everything, right? And then prescriptive analytic. So normally, all right, we only use descriptive analytic for our businesses. Okay, let's we get back to 30 to 40 or 50 years ago, when the business is not really competitive nowadays. We still remember when 30, 40, when the Wahoo started doing businesses in Brunei, there was no data required. So they just opened their businesses. But not until today. If you want to open a retail or grocery store, so you need a data. Because the competitiveness of doing businesses today is totally different. So most of the businesses right now, what's happening is much more into assumption. All right. For example, I would like to build something. All right. I want to build an apps or e-commerce apps. Okay. My assumption is, all right, this apps is going to be hit. Within 3 months, it's going to be like 10,000 users. All right. That is based on assumption, and then I'm going to after that 3 months is going to be hit, and then I'm going to make $1 million, and then I can buy Ford Mustang. So that is assumption. So assumption is killing businesses actually. All right. Because of that, we need data. Data now available since 1997, July 1997, when we first have our own internet in Brunei. All right. So data is available online already. It's not only from Brunei, but also overseas. All right. Okay. Data analytic guides decision and drive growth in sales and revenue. All right. The most top hits data that currently used normally for the marketing or CMOs, all right? 42% actually based on customer acquisition. Meanwhile, 40.5% based on customer insight, 39.1% based on digital marketing, 35% on customer retention, and 34.5% based on branding. So this is the common analytic, the insight, the information that been processed.
But what do you mean by customer acquisition?
Okay, customer acquisition actually is what is the response of the customer actually, all right? And then analytic strategy used to target customer, there are 4 actually, all right? That's what ONS doing also, all right? First of all, we do location-based targeting. Okay, where is the customer come from? And then personalization is age, gender, and everything.
Uh-oh. Is it time's up?
Is it time up? Okay. And then thirdly is a real-time.
Reporting.
All right, real-time reporting. So you need to know how much the daily sales and everything. And then the fourth one is the increase in mobile phone. Okay, as you know, in Brunei Darussalam, based on AITI data, insight, and everything, there are currently more users. Brunei Darussalam has 500,000 plus mobile users rather than the population. So that means there are 110% of mobile phone instead of the population of Brunei Darussalam. So that's huge actually. So where business data come from actually, all right? More than 50% are internally gathered. So that means we do our own research. We gather all the information, or probably from interviewing and everything. So that's what we call the internally data. Data we covered from internally. And then externally generated is 25%. So we get the information from inside, most probably from Facebook and Google, or might probably Golden Equator that currently we use also. And then 21% is the combination between the external and the internal data. All right. Analytic success lead to a better insight, better targeting, and better performance. 29% of our marketeers, all right, report that marketing analytic has helped increase their organization sales revenue by over 20+%. Meanwhile, 54% company using analytic extensively have higher profit than average. Okay, so this is the example that insight, a process data analytic, and then becoming information, and then becoming an insight for us to use. All right, so we can have from a Google or Facebook. Okay, what is the benefit of data analytic? Data analytic, okay, improve, okay, decision making. So we can have a better decision, either it's good or not. So data analytic can analyze it. Okay, and then improve collaboration in sharing information. Okay, hopefully, inshallah, what I heard from AITI, they're going to have a system that have a gathering for data information or data analytic. And then lastly, improve customer satisfaction or retention. So that means if you have a good data, you know what the consumer want. So that means you know what you're going to sell to your consumer. So that is the best, the basic knowledge or the basic information about what is data analytic that you need to know actually how you to entice your e-consumer. Before you selling a curry to a Malay people, make sure they love to eat curry.
Yeah, make sure you know. And the type of curry that
Yes, correct. Right.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Azri. Now we move on to Hey Domo with Mr. Darren Liu on data and insight in Hey Domo.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to the organizer for having me here. I'm Darren. I am the CEO and also co-founder of DXM Sdn Bhd, which is the creator of Hey Domo, the first mobile marketplace in Brunei. Next slide, please. Okay, so the key agenda of DXM as a company, not Hey Domo as a platform, is that from the beginning, what we want to do in DXM is that to actually help to accelerate the adoption of digitization in the community itself. So what is better to offer everyone a marketplace to let them get used to a cashless environment and also to get used to the convenience of shop through online. Just using a mobile device. You do not need to even have a computer, actually. As we have said, we have more mobile devices in Brunei than people at this moment, right? Okay, next slide. So that is why we created Hey Domo, mobile marketplace. So initially, it's not intended to be a food delivery business. However, we all know that in our country, Brunei, we love food so much. Right, so that is the only thing which we can really get reach to the people and tell them that, hey, today if you want a satay, you don't need to go and queue at the satay store. You can just pick up your phone, order the satay, and someone will deliver to you. So that is why we actually focus and not really focus, but the food vendor actually come to us gradually. We didn't really anticipate that, but most of them just come and say, hey, I want to actually conduct a food delivery business. Can you actually work together with us? That's how we started off, actually. Yep. Our journey, we started we start our minimum viable product, which is short for MVP, in April 2019. That is before the COVID. While we launched in August 2019, where in March 2020, we hit the COVID surge, actually. So there is the time where we have cases in Brunei, the government encouraged people to stay at home, and that is when we start to see our business pick up. So as of today, we have about 30,000 plus users. We have 400 over vendor on our Hey Domo platform. And it has been an interesting journey where we start to work with all the vendor where there is not really a homegrown so-called food delivery business in Brunei when we start. Not like today, we have a few different brands where you can choose from. Okay, yeah. And we talk about data today, so this is a little bit of customer profile for you. So as you can see that we have did a little bit analytics on our user. So out of the 30,000 user, most people who actually buy from us most are between the age range of 25 to 45 years old, right? And there are more female user than more female user who order than male user, right? So why? Because when we are hungry at home, we always go to our mom. We always say, hey, mom, I want to eat. We never go to our dad and say, hey, I'm hungry. Dad will say, go and look for your mom. So end of the day, the female user are the one who really place the order. Okay? And
In terms of device and operating system-wise, our app are quite balanced. We have both iOS and Android user, while average spending on our platform is about $30. So we have also come to a conclusion that our users who are on HeyDomo platform are mid-range to high-range income user actually. And young people who are actually having like maybe 4 children or 2 children and things like that. And they are mostly living in Bandar area. We also have customers from Tutong and Kuala Black District as well, and now we have customers from Temburong. However, we also found that majority of the users who are using food delivery app are actually in Bandar area. Yeah. Okay, next slides. So before we go into more, we talk a little bit on our services. Reason why I want to talk about this is because this is how we actually use data. And data are a crucial part of our day-to-day life in HeyDomo. Okay. So we have something called Domo Extra. So traditionally, when you order a type of food or from a vendor in a food delivery app, you can order one. Let's say you order one for food, you have to place another order for drinks, right? So the delivery fee will be like $5 plus another $5. So at the end of the day, your complete meal will cost you at least $10 delivery fee. Reason why we develop Domo Extra in a way is that, let's say if you order a food from QLab, where based on our data, we understand that there are a lot of eateries in QLab. So what we do is that once you order a food from QLab, you can top up $1 additional to order from any vendor who is within 150 meters of the first vendor vicinity. So you do not need to pay additional in order to order drinks after you order your food. So that is how we created Domo Extra. This is based on our data for vendor location, and also based on our data on how customers really love. Let's say for QLab, no advertising here, but if you order from Otakos in QLab, you would like to have Kola Baba as well, right? So that's how you can actually cross order. Yeah. So we do a crossover. This also help our vendor to increase the business who offer different kind of services in the area. Okay, next. And we have HeyDomo Go. So HeyDomo Go is our so-called our own developed logistic platform, where we use it to actually manage our driver. We provide our driver an Android app, where they can actually choose to pick up orders and also update the order status when they actually conduct the delivery services. Okay. Yeah. So within the HeyDomo Go itself, this is an independent product from HeyDomo. So what the driver can see is that they can actually have a turn-by-turn direction. So this is based on Google Maps services. And then we also help our driver to plan out the route. Because at the end of the day, when we only do one delivery per trip, it's not very cost efficient. So what we allow our driver to do is that we allow them to pick up 3 orders at one time. But as long as the route which they take is the shortest based on our recommendation, so they can do that. So that means that for one single trip, they can make at least 3 orders. So they can make more money as well and more time efficient for us. Okay. And we have something called HeyDomo Monitoring. I'll show you a little bit more on this later. So this is our dashboard where we use it every single day. So everything is extracting from the data. It covers the entire ordering process from the time where customer come on board, place their first order, the pay, and how does the process flow go from ordering to the food vendor hand over to our dispatcher. So it actually updates every single status on this particular dashboard. And HeyDomo Insight is our own developed data analytic tools in-house as well. It helps us to understand more on how our business is doing, what time to what time we have more orders, what time to what time each single individual customer would like to order, and what day they normally order more, and which vendor have more business during what time and what day, and we can encourage them to do some promotion on those what we so-called down day actually, where they have not much business. So those are the insights which we share with our vendor, and also we share across internally as well with our marketing people. So what we collect in our system, actually, our data is pretty open. So we have delivery location, we have dispatch partner pickup location as well. We have vendor offering, so what the vendor is offering, because every single restaurant have more than 10 items, definitely. Some of them even have 100 items. So all of that are actually on our system. We have customer preference. So what do you like? You like Japanese food, you like Asian cuisine, you like Western food and things like that. So what is your spending habit? So what time do you order mostly from what vendor and what kind of food do you like and how much roughly is your average spending? So we collect all those kind of data. And at the end of the day, with all those data, we use it to monitor our performance. So our internal performance, our dispatcher performance, our vendor performance, and all these things. And we share data across to everyone, so everyone have a better understanding of their business. So operational dashboard, as I mentioned, you can see that it's pretty colorful, but if you read down into it, you will see that it's actually the traffic light pattern where we see in every data analytic tools. So red means is need a lot of attention, orange means it's still okay, but better take a look at it, and green means everything is good, right? So we apply that into our day-to-day operation. So you see that when there is 3 phases on that. So the first phase with the blue color heading, that is when the order first come in. So when the order first came in, it tells our people which vendor is that and what they are ordering and which customer is ordering. Okay, so and also the payment status. So after the vendor have already confirmed the order, it will move into the second phase, which is the one with the orange actually. So the orange will tell us whether the order is available for pickup and whether any dispatcher have already committed to make the delivery, right? So we also have a time specific because internally we have a KPI. So every order have to be completed within 45 minutes from the time of order. So when it exceeded, let's say within 30 minutes, the vendor have not get the order ready, the dashboard will turn into red. So our operation will need to check with the vendor, hey, what happened to the order? Do you need more time to prepare so we can inform the customer immediately? So this will improve the satisfaction and also to cut down the time of our dispatcher waiting at the location rather than move on to another orders, right? And after everything is done, it will pass on to the third phase, which is the dispatcher phase. So dispatcher will confirm or will confirm whether the order has been delivered within the KPI time, which is 45 minutes, or not actually. So if it's not been completed within 45 minutes, we need to do a full refund for the customer. Okay?
Okay.
Yep. Next one. And we utilize all our data. So there's a lot of bar chart within our organization. So we look at how our performance are based on the days, based on the time of the day. And then from there, most of the time we will have marketing meeting to understand. So we doesn't have that much order today. So what do we want to do? How do we respond to market demand? What should we do actually to improve the customer or to entice the customer to order more from particular vendor or from HeyDomo platform itself? And we also have what we so-called delivery heat map. So this actually helps us to understand which is the hot zone for collection and what are the hot zone for delivery actually. So as I mentioned earlier, we can see that all across Bandar area, from Gadong Kulap down to Jerodong and Mora, there are people who orders from us most of the time actually. So with this, we can proper position where our dispatcher should wait for their orders. So they can actually reach to the pickup location in the shortest time possible. And we adopt customer behavior. So this is a bar chart and behavior of a single customer. So you can see that throughout the month, actually from the 1st until the 30th. So how often does he orders actually cumulatively over the last year? And then what time normally he orders. So for example, this customer, he normally order breakfast and dinner from us. So lunch, maybe he will go out with his colleague and things like that. So we also understand what food he's like, which vendor he order most from, how much he spend with the vendor in a monthly basis actually. Yeah. Okay. So we believe that insight are for performance and insight are for possible future. So based on a lot of the data we collect over the past 2 years, we have decided to make a different move actually. So today, next slide please. So today what we can offer is that we believe that there is a gap to be filled in the market actually. So instead of running HeyDomo as an operator, we currently offer our e-commerce marketplace to people who want to create an e-commerce business, who wanted to create an app for themselves, for their own business. Let's say if you run a supermarket chain, you can have an app for yourself, and we will take care of all the technology. We do not need to develop from scratch. We already have the platform, right? So we are offering as a crowd services to everyone, including a managed operation services where there is dispatcher from our people as well. So you do not have to go and recruit your own dispatcher and all this stuff. And our customer service will manage your online business for you. So this is what we are moving on to, and we believe that with this model, we can actually help to create more digital business, we can create more job opportunity, and offer more things to the community as well. Yeah. And we have already started with 2 partners of ours. So one of them is GigTurf. So I'm not sure you heard of GigTurf. It's one of the most popular technology reviewer on Instagram initially. And they started their own GigTurf store, and they have started for about half a year now. Every month they can generate about 25,000 to 30,000 business on their app itself, actually. So everything is based on the HeyDomo backend. Okay, next one. Next is Let's. So this belongs to a restaurant group where you can actually order all the food across their entire branding offer under the same brand, actually. So we take care of the delivery for them. They are not HeyDomo vendor, but they run their own brands. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
That's all from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Darren. So we've got only about roughly 15 minutes. If there are any questions from the floor, just please raise up your hand, and then we will have the microphone come over to you, okay? But first question to you, Darren. Since you actually started sometime in 2019, how have you seen the growth of e-commerce in Brunei? Pre-COVID and post-COVID, I suppose.
Okay, I think us Bruneian are not a stranger to e-commerce. The only difference is that we used to buy from people like Zalora, we used to buy from people like AliExpress and things like that. So when we first start HeyDomo as a local brand, it's really difficult to convince people that, hey, trust me, give me your credit card information. One of the bigger hassle we have during that time is that because we are totally cashless, we need you to input your credit card information when you buy, actually. So there is a lot of trust issue which we need to manage that time. And when we first start off in August 2019, so every day we probably only have 1 or 2 orders, and most of the order came from internal. Okay, so our order once, the other colleague will order the other one, and one colleague will order. So we just wanted to prove to the vendor that, hey, there are people who order on the platform, actually. So the deliveries are all going to the DXM office. There's our lunch, our dinner, and our breakfast, right? However, before we reach COVID, right? So let's say February 2020, we have improved from 1 or 2 orders every day to down to about 60 orders per day. So slowly we gain vendor trust, we get vendor to come on board. The more vendor there is, the more customer will come on board, and vendor is helping to promote as well. However, in March 2020, there is where the COVID hit, where the government suggests everyone to stay at home. The orders start actually grow from 60 per day down to 200 per day. Overnight, where that is the time when we hit a problem. We don't have enough people to manage the order. We don't have enough dispatcher to deliver the orders.
And how did you do it then?
Well, we struggle. I go and do delivery. My CTO go do delivery. Our marketing manager go do delivery. So we are all dispatcher during that time. All right. So. But we managed to overcome it in a very short time because we have a lot of help from people like Job Center. We have a lot of help from people like AITI as well. So what they do is that they help us to actually accelerate the process of getting Job Center interviewee to come in to actually become dispatcher, to work with us on the dispatch business. So that is how we overcome. So we grow from about 30 dispatcher to 150 dispatcher within a week. And technologically, we actually used about 2 weeks' time to complete our entire logistic management platform to make the entire order process so much more smoother as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Maybe we'll touch on the questions on Slido. It's very interesting. Can you touch a bit on commercial data? Because right now all companies are actually collecting data for their own use, but there's no selling of data commercially, I suppose, in Brunei. So is buying and selling of data a good thing?
Buying of data?
Yeah, buying and selling of data.
Well, it depends on, I think it's always good. Depends on what business you are doing. You always need data. Let's say, for example, for overseas company who wanted to come into Brunei, maybe to actually set up a franchise actually in Brunei. It's good for them to understand from people like us actually. So how many people are buying, what sort of food Bruneians like and stuff like that. So these are old data. Because today in the market, we don't really see that from Brunei a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of company comes in blindfolded and do assumption, right? So yeah, in a way, buying and selling of data is a way to actually make better business decision, including starting a business. However, we need to be very careful about the security of
Is it
personal.
legal?
Yes, correct. The privacy and stuff like that. So those are the things where we need to take in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Azri? How did I guess Oz came in, because you basically are using a lot of data. How did data come into play when you actually set up ONS?
Okay, back in 2016, actually, before ONS was established, actually we just rebrand our name to ONS. Before this, we call it our Rutuku Express. So we do cross-border delivery, sea cargo, air cargo, and everything actually. But due to the data analytic that we gathered since September 2019, before COVID hit in China, all the logistic is affected actually in China. So we have a struggle on that. So we get all the data, and then we have a lot of information from our local consumer actually granting to us regarding about the issue raised and everything. So what the problem and everything. This is what we get everything. So instead of focusing on external or international pickup and delivery, cross-border and everything, we took our initiative to focus on the local domestic delivery. So because at the end, what we see the pattern with MTIC actually, cross-border delivery that time, COVID on March 2020 is huge. Lots of people doing a cross-border at the time. Not a lot of people thinking about domestic delivery. So from the data actually, why we focus on cross-border right now? Because at the end, a lot of people now doing the cross-border. So the pie is getting smaller. Why we focus on that? Let's be focused on the local domestic, because we see, as Darren said just now, the data that we gathered actually from the government, where we are now doing business from home, we see the trend from the normal rate to 75.1%. People doing business out physically now go to online. So we gather all the information and then starting doing our ONS delivery.
And I'm assuming that both companies, both of you, have an in-house data analytics, or are you using an application platform to manage your data?
For HeyDomo, we develop everything ourselves actually, because today I think even though a lot of solutions out there are offering crowd subscription services, but it's still a cost to us, and we are startup and we don't have much money. So, and our data are not that complicated in a way. So what we have decided to do is that we actually hire a person who studies statistics in UBD, and then bring him in. We work with him together with the technology people. So we start to develop our own. So those bars and stuff like that, which you see, are all our own in-house development. Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Maybe perhaps we go on to the next question of if we think about where our government aspiration is, a lot of it is about export. At the moment, there's a lot of, only within the country. Do you see that the use of e-commerce potentially going, just like right now, we buy from Zalora, we buy from Lazada and all the likes, and it's all coming in, but it's not really going out. Do you see that developing in the next few years for Brunei, as we are now becoming more fluent with e-commerce within the country? Is that, in your data, does that seem like it's going to happen?
Based on our past 2-year experience, e-commerce is definitely something which we can grow a lot within in-country itself, right? However, the offer have to be there. I think the challenge today is that most of the so-called e-commerce in Brunei are really focused on food delivery, just like us. So out of the 450 vendors which we have, almost up to 90% of them are food vendors, right? We have people who sell tudongs and stuff like that on our platform as well. However, those things are items where people prefer to buy in store, right? So even though the data are encouraging, so we have about 500 orders going all over Brunei for food delivery today. However, for items which are daily use, it's not that much yet. So we believe that we can start to actually talk to people like supermarkets. So this is the first step to buy daily usage product and stuff like that to actually begin with. Then slowly we can move to other items and things like that. While another challenge which we face is that the customer front end are ready. However, the back end is not that ready yet. So back end, I mean, what I mean is that from storefront down to distributor, down to retailer. So those are not that ready yet.
So the value chain isn't ready.
The value chain is not there yet. Yeah, because when we talk about e-commerce business like Lazada, Alibaba, or Taobao and things like that, so they have entire value chain, right? So when the customer click an order from the website, immediately the guys who are in the store already know that, okay, this item need to be dispatched within the next 2 hours. So these are the things which we are short in Brunei at this moment.
What about you, Azri? I mean, you are from Rotoku at the end of the day. You help companies to export.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Brunei e-commerce actually is far behind from the other. All right, I agree with Darren just now. The most major industry in Brunei Darussalam is food and beverages. Because of that, we are the highest obesity in Brunei. I see lots of, because of Brunei, people love to eat. All right, so to export the food and beverages from Brunei is to external country like international brand is a very complicated issue. So we currently right now working collaborate with Darussalam Enterprise to help the local Bruneian product, Brunei made, to put into our second version of our own developed platform, ONS Marketplace we call it, and then integrate with our platform, and then hopefully from there, so we can penetrate the not only local but also international. Because of that, we also partnering with our partner, our investor, also Bip Digital. So we are currently tapping on our local product, how we're going to help and then export to international for the international buyer.
Do you see that our businesses are ready to export?
To be honest, inshallah, when we have a proper platform, when we have a proper guidance, when we have a proper SOP and everything, especially from the government, how to improve our product to be standardized in everything, inshallah, there's a demand actually from us.
So we need to have enablers in place.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any questions from the floor, guys? Nada? Okay, thank you. Okay, I saw 2 questions just now from Slido about data privacy. So how are you both protecting data? Because data is, at the end of the day, a responsibility for companies. So what's the policy that you have in terms of data protection?
Well, for us, I think as at the very foundation, we need to properly host our system with a reputable vendor. So we are quite lucky that we have been selected as one of the IBM ASEAN Cloud Startup. So our data have been resided at IBM with the highest security possible. And every single data are highly encrypted as well, 128-bit encryption on the IBM Cloud itself. And of course, that is on the technology end. And our people needs to all sign a data integrity policy within our company itself as well, because we have access to people addresses and things like that. So those are carefully being managed. Yeah.
Is that the same for you as well?
For us, actually, even though we have our own AWS, actually, using our AWS, so we have a separate server for our own privacy policy and everything. So we do agree with that. So we have signing an agreement with our consumer, with our internal people, so to protect the data privacy, especially for the consumer.
So you do manage that pretty well. That's an important aspect
yes,
of your business.
Very important.
Okay. And I think we all know that, and it's been talked about as well in the last 2 sessions as well just now, that COVID has brought a surge in the rise of e-commerce, not just in Brunei, but also globally in the region and all that. And I guess like in the United States as well, they are also challenging the brick and mortar business. Do you see that, that is the case in Brunei? Because if you look at our construction, we are seeing a lot more malls popping up. Do you see our e-commerce moving from food to retail and other types of services?
I think we won't see ourselves as a challenger to the brick and mortar business, in a way that we wanted to achieve an ecosystem, in a way that, let's imagine today if you go to a mall, you buy stuff and things like that. And it can integrate with the app which you have been using day in and day out with all your payment information in there. And after you have made your purchases, normally, let's say if we go to supermarket to buy, to do our weekly shopping, right? We have like rice and all these things, really heavy stuff to carry back. Let's say if all the malls can work with ONS or HeyDomo, where after your purchases, leave it at the counter and we will deliver it home for you actually. So at the end of the day, I think we are actually correlated in a way, rather than challenging each other.
Same as well with you?
For ONS, actually, we provide as a platform, as an aggregator. So what we currently do right now is provide our API, especially for our partner like pasarpbg.com. Actually, we provide our API. So any order from pasarpbg.com, actually Pasar Malam, all right? So any last mile delivery will be triggered to us. So currently what we do right now, we also integrating our API with, inshallah, with Rimba Point for the grocery and all the Rimba people over there. So that is what we currently do right now. From moving from not only like Darren are focused on food and delivery, we are focusing on another sector actually. So that's what we currently as aggregator. I think Darren also agree with me. Aggregator is another way how we to encourage people doing online businesses.
Okay. Darren, just now you talk about there's still many gaps to be filled. There's still many opportunities, even in the field that you're in. What is next for HeyDomo?
As we mentioned earlier, that we see that there are opportunities in the market, but the challenge which we face today for every business to go digital is the investment which you need to put in. So whether you buy a white label solution or one you want to develop in-house, these are all money, right? So in HeyDomo itself is that we have seen success on our own platform, and we know that we have developed proper processes, we have SOP established, we have resources ready and things like that. So what we want to do is that we want to go out and help more people to actually digitize their business. Let's say, for example, a supermarket chain who wanted to offer their items to people who are not living nearby to them. So e-commerce is the way to go, right? So what we do is that we go to them, offer them our solution on a monthly subscription basis. They don't have to invest hundreds and thousands of dollars, and they don't even need to look at dispatcher and all these things because we manage everything for them. So we use the same group of HeyDomo dispatcher to dispatch for that supermarket. So that is how we do it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where we are moving to a shared services model.
Thank you. Azri, I think we have still a question there about, for you, about data privacy. Since your data is hosted on another entity, who actually owns the software you're using?
Okay, even though we're using our white label software actually, is not to be hosted by them actually, it's hosted by us. So we have our own privacy policy set that we own by ourselves and hosted by ourselves. Only the software is being developed by other third party, so it's totally different. So what we currently right now, we have the second version is fully developed by our own team. After the first MVP actually, the first one. So we identified there's a few things that we need to be improved. So we improved lots of things for the second version. Inshallah, will be released in this another couple of months. Inshallah, within October soon.
Okay, thank you. So I think as we are coming to the end of our session, let's tackle a question on the ecosystem. I think as startups, maybe perhaps you could share with us what are your wish lists for ecosystem development here in Brunei, especially as Brunei aspires to become a smart nation. What's your wish list as a startup?
Okay, I think on our context, we can't speak too much for the government. However, I believe that today the government have get in touch with a lot of the startup and also the industry as well. But I would like to actually get some help to really go down to the roots of the entire what we so-called trading mechanism, right? So trading mechanism, there will be an importer and exporter who bring the item into Brunei. There will be a distributor who distribute to all the retailers, right? So ONS and HeyDomo, I think we have get in touch with the retailer. But the distributor and the importer and exporter are still very traditional business. So it's very difficult to actually develop a so-called e-commerce ecosystem, streamline the whole thing when the supply chain is not ready. Unlike oil and gas, the supply chain are very, very advanced already. But in terms of trading-wise, it's not that yet. So we go to a lot of Kedai Runcit, we still see them using a kind of a register, right? So cash register. Those are the things where we can improve. So when we start to improve those things, let's say give them an intelligent POS and things like that, we can start to actually bring everyone online. We can start to properly manage the entire country resources as well. Let's say canned food. So how much are we selling from every single Kedai Runcit, supermarkets and things? Do we really need to import that much and things like that? So those are the things where we can really look at the foundation of the e-commerce itself, the commerce itself actually.
Awesome,
Yeah.
thank you. What about you, Azri?
Okay. I still remember when we, this year, puasa time, when we started doing with our partner for Pasar Malam. So, aligned with our topic, Smart Nation, actually, this is the government want to highlight, actually, to our local businesses to implement the technology, the usage of technology on their businesses. So far, as we can see, even though the technology is there, they're a little bit reluctant on using it. So I think the transfer knowledge of the technology transfer knowledge actually is another crucial thing for our young generation, or especially the businesses, to adapt that the Smart Nation can be achieved for the next Wawasan.
Thank you. So since we've run out of time, is there any one last question that you would like to actually respond to? So there's this question on what sector you see data analytics will be used more. Would you consider to open up your data for sharing within the industry? That's another privacy
Okay, I would like to respond to, would you consider to open your data for sharing with the industry? Yes, we would love to share our data, especially to the government. So we would like to help the other businesses to grow in Brunei Darussalam. Even though in Brunei Darussalam we don't have any set of policy of buying and selling data like other countries. Like
not yet developed.
Not yet. We don't have the set of policy. But inshallah, when we have a proper set of guidance or any rules from the government or another sector, so might probably we can do. But currently, right now, what we have right now, the data, so we can provide our data using our API. So, for instance, like AITI now need more data to be input for the public usage. Yes, we can provide that one, inshallah.
Okay, thank you. What about you, Darren?
I think the question about how do we fast track to develop the analytic development. I think data are data, analytics are technology which we adapt to, right? It's really based on how your company is going to use it and what is needed within your company itself. Like us, because this is our bread and butter. If we do not know our customer, if we do not know our vendor offering, the business won't be there. So data is crucial to us. Data analytics is a must to us, actually, in a way. So if you have that kind of desire, there are a lot of tools out there for you to choose from. You can do, of course, you can do in-house delivery. As simple as using Excel itself, you can actually do data analytics, right? So you don't need expensive tools itself. So explore the possibility of how you can actually use your data in-house and how it can help your organization in a way. When you want to do that, definitely there's a tools for you. So sometimes you don't really need to go through any development at all.
Okay. Thank you very much. So to end the session, let's play a word association game. I'm going to say one word or two. You can say what comes to your mind. Okay? So we'll do about a couple of rounds. So data. What comes to your mind?
Okay, data is just a raw fact for me.
Raw fact.
Raw
Okay.
fact.
All right. Darren?
To me, data is insight.
Insight. Okay. E-commerce. Maybe Darren
Or
first.
Hey Domo.
Hey Domo. Okay.
Soon, on marketplace.
On marketplace. Okay. Community.
Well, community to me in Brunei, food. Reason why is it food links us all together, right? So when we meet each other, we will definitely say, hey, what food do you like? Yeah.
Azri?
I do agree with Darren.
That's it?
Yeah, I love food.
Okay. So lastly, Smart Nation. Azri first.
Okay, Smart Nation. Okay, what I'm expecting from the Smart Nation within this couple of years, we can see it's not only the growth of mobile phone usage in Brunei Darussalam. I know most of us not only having one mobile phone, but some of them has one tablet, two smartphone and everything, instead of 400,000 users, the population in Brunei. So what we need to know is it's not only about having a smart mobile phone and everything, to leverage the usage of the technology, and then how we're going to benefit from it. That's
Okay.
it.
Thank you. Darren?
Brew Health.
Brew Health, okay.
Okay, Brew Health is the most exciting thing I really see in Brunei over the past couple of years, because this is the first time I can really see data transparency in Brunei, where we know day in, day out where everyone is going. Because my first company, Lighthouse, we were trying to do something like a Bluetooth technology thing to actually do target-based marketing. But nobody turned on their Bluetooth 5 years ago. But today, everyone have to turn on their Bluetooth. So when we start to establish the kind of connectivity across the entire nation, that is when we can actually take the next step.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much to Darren and Mr. Azri for
Thank you.
joining us today. So with that, we end the session today. Thank you very much. Over to the MC.
Alhamdulillah, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much for your participation and attendance in this conference. We hope you enjoy today's program and events organized throughout the week. With that, we end with wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, well done. Next time, yeah. I will put you in my mind and hub. No, mana boleh. Tunggu dulu. Tunggu dulu. Ani dulu. Ani dulu. Pakah dulu. Well done. Well done.